Hey, it's Thursday. I'm Dominic D'Angelo of AdFreeShows.com, SEScoops.com, and OneTrueSportTV.com. Per usual, I'm here with Mr. Robert Karpelis, WD Creative_ish. Robert, I'm back at the cafe. How are you doing?
Guys, I promise eventually Dom is going to stop doing the hey thing at the start of the episode. I've only asked him every week for the last many weeks. It is remarkably annoying, but it is not remarkably annoying to be here with you all on this this beautiful Thursday. The sun is shining. There are no tariffs involved in watching this this show. We'll say hi to some of the folks who are joining us. Michael Partham says Tony Khan must be studying the abridged book of pro wrestling. That we are going to get into the Dynamite booking there. Willie Thornbrew says, I've been watching wrestling for over 40 years, and I've seen a lot of great matches and a lot of great angles that didn't require glass. No, you didn't. You do you not remember the great glass spot in Savage Steamboat? It's an all-timer. Devin Dowling says, hey guys, Cammy Starr calling you Crusty D'Angelo. I like that.
Hey.
Jeff Henninger says AEW Dynasty, where we find out it was all a dream. That would be if it was Dallas.
Or like Bob Newhart.
Or like Newhart, yes. And Dre Owens says, hello, R&I. So much for Athena versus Mercedes at the pay-per-view. Dude, we got a lot to talk about.
We sure do. Yeah. Robert, the show of AEW Dynamite, the go-home show of AEW Dynamite, kicked off with John Moxley teaming up with Marina Shafir against Willow Nightingale and Swerve Strickland. Hey, this wasn't a normal tag match either, Robert. This was a tornado tag. So all bets were off. And sure enough, after Swerve and Willow got the win, Moxley gave Willow a death riding DDT. And Bill.
Sorry, more importantly, Wrestling Old Head asked the question. R&I got a good Simpsons trivia question for you. When are you not supposed to read Willie's mind? That's between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time. Between 8 and 10 on Wednesdays is Tony Khan time. And that is when we get a mixed tag match where I said yesterday, I'm surprised we're doing this because you're giving away a lot of physicality between John Moxley and Swerve. And true to form, they gave away a lot of physicality between John Moxley and Swerve during this match, Dom.
Yes, they did. Big time. It was too much. And then we got even more at the end of the show.
We got, and it was, I think it was Michael Partham who said the abridged comment, and it's 100% true. We got 3 weeks of storytelling in one episode of Dynamite. And this is kind of some of the problems that you run into with AEW that we're generally critical of, which is not that they're telling bad stories. It's that they're not paced well. We got weeks and weeks and weeks of the Moxley-Cope feud, which ultimately was not going to be settled at this pay-per-view. And so we really only got like 2 weeks of a Swerve build. So we got 3 Swerve shows in one. The first was this mixed tag match, which if I was Tony, I probably would have gone with the mixed tag, but I would not have given away a clean finish. I would have probably had Moxley DDT Willow Nightingale in the match. The referee has no choice. It's like, hey, we got to stop this thing. We're calling this off. How dare you? And you get a lot of the chaos there. I know this is hard to believe. Yesterday, on this show where I was sitting here, you were sitting in a cafe someplace, said, guys, I don't know if Marina Shafir is going to be the best during this match. And much like Dom, who earlier, 7 minutes ago, sent me the wrong link to this show because he's a little rusty, Marina Shafir, not the best in the ring.
Never did I think I'd be compared to Marina Shafir, but I was. And yeah, Robert, this was a weird match. The thing I thought about after the fact was this should have been the big storyline throughout the whole show, and it kind of was, but the attention
and then it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. It was missing a lot of aspects about it, and I thought it really took away from the stakes and the emphasis of, hey, John Moxley DDT'd Willow Nightingale. Like that should have been a huge deal throughout the whole show, and it was just went away for a while. And I don't know. didn't like the execution of this all.
Didn't love the execution of it. I liked the storyline beat. I liked that they needed something shocking for Swerve to be angry about. And we did, we just saw shocking on Raw where Gunther bathed in the blood of his enemies. And we weren't going to get blood here. Instead, we got man-on-woman violence. And who doesn't love that? Who also doesn't love FTR, where we found out that Dax still writes checks.
Who does that? What? I actually do that with my landlord, so I can't criticize.
They don't do direct deposit for you, Dom?
No, they're old Italian people straight from the boot. So I just either give them cash or write them a check.
I don't know if that's racially insensitive or not. Like in 2025, I don't know what's going to offend people. I get that your name is Dominic D'Angelo, so you can say that. I don't think I'm allowed to laugh at that.
You got my approval. If that helps, I don't know.
I'm glad. Something that was I approved of was the very simple, straightforward booking of Tony Storm beating Penelope Ford while Megan Bayne looked on disapprovingly. This was totally fine, simple storytelling. What was not simple storytelling was the next beat. So I had just finished right before we recorded this. I recorded a working stiff with Scott Chaplin, which it's still converting. Dom, you don't have it in your inbox. You haven't screwed this up yet, Dom. I'm giving you hope. And we got to this moment where Swerve is in the back with Willow. She's being tended to by the medical professionals. And Renee Paquette comes up to interview him. And I used colorful language that I can't use here. But the gist of it is, number one, Renee's husband just beat up a woman who is now feet away from Swerve. And she's not vocalizing disgust, anger, frustration, none of it. Swerve is not saying, how can you stay married to a man who would assault a woman and assault a woman on television? The fact that Renee even thought it was a good idea to approach a mentally unstable, angry, out of his mind Swerve shows that we are living in a very weird world. You have Alex Marvez for a reason, I think. Send him back there to go.
There anyway. Is he there still?
Alex Marvez is still with the company. He was just on like 2 weeks. He still does all their fact checking and stuff. They use Marvez. Like, you could have used anybody, or
Lexi Nair, somebody.
Lexi Nair. There's also the possibility that Swerve, so out of his mind, could have done something to Renee, held her captive. We get none of this. Instead, it's just a straightforward moment. And I'm going, this is a very strange disconnect. And it was a situation where there was a lot of potential. It felt like a missed opportunity. And all I was thinking about is, what the hell is going on here? And then we pivoted to an MJF Hurt Syndicate segment. Dom, what did you think of these guys yakking it up on the old yak box?
I think it was okay. Like, MJF's always pretty good. Obviously, he's good at what he does, and I think the presence of Bobby Lashley really added to it. I think, and they got a good dynamic. But ultimately, it's like it wasn't anything crazy, like great. But I enjoyed it, and it creates the intrigue of, hey, what's going to happen with these two? Obviously, I like the aspect that Bobby doesn't trust Max, and kind of like referencing back to the Cody days in certain ways with Max and Cody. So I think this is cool. I'm for it. Nothing crazy though.
I still don't like that we're teasing dissension between MVP and Lashley. I want these guys to all be on the same page. We're going to do predictions for Dynasty tomorrow, but my guess is eventually what's going to happen is MJF is going to get his own tag team, whether that is FTR or maybe the Guns who aren't being used elsewhere, to align with him to go after the Hurt Syndicate. That kind of feels like where this is ultimately going to end up.
Yeah, I'm with you. It creates a lot of intrigue. I think it's good to have MJF go up against somebody like Lashley and MVP, have those guys in the mix. And yeah, I think it's kind of cool to have them turn babyface because people want to cheer for the Hurt Syndicate too. And,
they're already cheering for him.
Yeah, right. So,
and it's they're great because It's a throwback because we all remember Shelton and Lashley and MVP, but it's somehow new and different. And it's kind of like our sponsor, Magic Spoon. I love the nostalgic taste of the cereals that I grew up with, that I know, Dom, that you grew up with. But look, we're getting older. We're both gentlemen in our 40s. We can't be eating the way that we used to, but you don't have to give up that flavor while having to take all that sugar that neither one of us want to be dealing with. And that's why you got Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon makes high protein, zero sugar cereal and treats that reinvent those flavors from your childhood. They've also launched a brand new high protein granola. It's true to the Magic Spoon promise. It's packed with protein and it is unbelievably crunchy. Mine finally arrived yesterday afternoon. I am not ashamed to say that I crushed most of that bag right off the bat. The granola has 13 grams of protein, zero added sugar, comes in flavors like dark chocolate almond, honey almond, and peanut butter. The peanut butter is legit. They've also got the Magic Spoon treats. And when you hear that word treat, you're thinking of another, rice-based cereal that you may have had a treat as a kid. It's basically what this tastes like. It's crispy, it's crunchy, it's airy. It's got 12 grams of protein on the go. There's no added sugar, and it comes in flavors like marshmallow, chocolate, peanut butter, and dark chocolate. And you can get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/rumor, or you can look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. But if you go to magicspoon.com/rumor, it's where you can get $5 off your order. And that is really, really smart. You don't need to be sitting under the learning tree to understand that. And speaking of the learning tree, this may have been the best. I know he's your all-time favorite, Mr. Brian. Don't call me Scott Keith. But him and Big Bill look like a hell of a tag team here. This was a smart little booking moment.
I enjoyed it, Robert. Yeah, it was good stuff. We'll do our predictions, I guess, come Dynasty. But yeah, I'm intrigued to kind of see what comes with this, whether it's just breaking up the learning tree or there's more to come with Brian Keith and Big Bill. But I liked it too, Robert. I'm with you. We also had, following after that, we happen to have, I'm looking at my notes.
It was a Harley Cam and Mercedes Monet promo where, and I blew Scott's mind with this. I'm going to try to see what I do with you. We're clearly getting a new rock and sock connection with these ladies.
Did you like that?
I like Harley Cameron on television. I like any situation in which she's going to be allowed to be entertaining. And yeah, I don't mind this. Let's get a little personality with her and Mercedes. And ultimately, with the rock and sock connection, it did initially end with The Rock finally just straight up murdering Mankind. And it made him even more sympathetic of a hero when that happened to him. Let's do that here. Let's let Harley kind of, try to ingratiate herself to Mercedes. And then ultimately, when the crowd starts liking this, you have Mercedes just cut Harley's knees out from under her and destroy the puppet.
Yeah. If it just ultimately leads to another match between the two, I think that's a good idea, because I don't know how much of a friendship or an alliance this warrants necessarily, right? I mean, they just fought each other not too long ago. So it's just kind of weird, but yeah.
Yeah, but you're revisiting it from a different perspective, and I think that's why it works. We got a different entrant into the Owen, which is Kevin Knight.
Jet to fly. What do you think of Kevin Knight there, Robert?
So I'm going to give a truncated version of a rant that I do on Working Stiff because I went deep into this here. But as my shirt says, there's the word kayfabe on it, which is available now at ProWrestlingTees.com. It's a hell of a shirt. I love it. But the Owen is the AEW version of the Royal Rumble because the winner of this gets a title shot at All In, which is their WrestleMania. So this tournament is the single most coveted, most important tournament that All Elite Wrestling has. We just had a mini tournament for the international title. We had a tournament for the Continental Classic. But this is the single signature tournament for All Elite Wrestling. And all due respect to the Jet, who had one really good match, this is a company that's built on win-loss records, that your record matters. What you do in the ring matters. That's what Tony Khan himself always said. And when a guy can debut and then immediately get a spot in the most coveted tournament of the year, when there are a number of wrestlers who are not in this tournament, it calls into question any kind of logic AEW is utilizing. Wrestling Old Head says Jeff Jarrett is the wild card, isn't he? I would suspect it's probably going to be Josh Alexander as a debut, where that already calls into question the idea of why. There's also Darby Allin, who's been missing for a while. Maybe he's going to be the wild card. There's no Orange Cassidy in this tournament. There's no Adam Cole. There's no Danny Garcia. There's no Kazuchika Okada in this. There's no. I know MJF said he doesn't want to be in it, but like, there's no MJF in it. Like, there's a number of names. There's Eddie Kingston, Dre Owens throws out there. Like, there's a number of big name people who should be in this tournament. You don't take a guy who just won one match and you put him in here, especially because AEW does not have the greatest track record with pushing somebody and then keeping it a sustained push, Action Andretti. And you can't sink your teeth into a new talent and then think, oh, they're going to go somewhere with it. And the last name I'm going to use to prove why following anyone there and getting behind them makes no sense, Hobbs.
Holy crap, right. He's like the perfect one you could really use on that. Yeah, it is very much a head scratcher. Like, you know, I looked at it, the bracket. You got Osprey on one side, you got Hangman on another. Those seem
right.
Like
we know it's going to be an Osprey Hangman final. That's fine. But the way that you take the journey to get there does have to matter for the next several weeks of TV. Wrestling Old Head asks, why didn't they film something to show Jay White attack? I don't think that they knew Jay White was injured at the time. I think that came to light later, and flying him out to TV for it when they can just talk about it, I guess they thought was the best path to go. The tag match was fine because we did get our boy Blake Christian.
I know you were worried about that.
I was very worried.
Thank goodness.
Main eventer Blake Christian was on there. The tag match was very good. You know, Knight is a very talented performer. I think him and Ospreay are going to have a great match on Sunday. And it's, again, you're pushing a dude who rejected NXT, so you want to kind of get that momentum a little bit. But everything about this feels a little bit like a misfire. We then got a very long Brody King Lance Archer match. I like both guys. Big Brody King guy. I've known Brody for many, many years. This went on way too long, Dom.
Oh, Robert, I'm with you. I immediately thought, too, when this match was going on, I was like, this should be like Goldberg versus Lesnar Mania, like those, how many years ago? Just have it hard hitting, quick, and then you have like just a slugfest thing, and then ultimately King gets the win since he's in the tournament. You want to build him, but again, you're putting Lance Archer in that position where he's a literally big job, and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of disconnect again with this. I think
it was fine. Could have been much shorter. I get the whole Brian Cage is injured, so they kind of had to call an audible here. But
right, yeah, I get that too. But it's still like, it's unfortunate how you're booking these stacked members of the Don Callis family from a physical presence. They need to be bigger, and they aren't.
We got Cope and Claudio. This also went very long,
yes,
and it went to the 10 o'clock window, which is kind of amazing, because I thought at one point, oh no, did they forget about the Swerve angle? And the funny thing is, Scott thought the same thing when I talked to him, where I was like, wait, didn't Swerve promise that he was going to take out Moxley at some point during this show? Cope gets the win over Claudio here, which I don't love the Death Riders losing twice on this show, because to compare them to the NWO always had a plan. So if they weren't going to lose, there could be disqualification, there could be running, there could be whatever. Instead, it's just we beat Claudio clean. And then you had Swerve in the back, where he then acknowledges, I'm looking for your husband, Renee. Where the heck, this earlier? You could have done this earlier in the show. And then we get Hangman and Swerve for a confrontation, which turned into Ron Burgundy and Wes Mantooth. I hate you, but I damn sure respect you.
I did like it, but yeah, you're right. It was like that very much. Intriguing beat that they took with him and Hangman. So yeah, I like that aspect. But yeah, Robert, this was all over the place tonight with our last night with all that stuff.
And then it ends with more glass.
Hey, more glass. Yeah.
Love seeing all that glass. Look, Swerve sitting up, and the idea that like he's the guy that is going to be unstoppable. We'll get more details into this tomorrow and more in depth on Dynasty. But it's like as your go home show, this was 3 weeks of TV. This was, oh no, what happened to Willow? Swerve's looking for him, and he has a confrontation with Hangman. We finally get an attack, and they think they've left Swerve broken, but no, his resolve is strong. That was a Swerve, bro. And here we are. But that was the Dynamite before Dynasty. Nice name there.
Thank you.
And we got other news to talk about, my man.
Yes, we do, Robert. We do indeed.
I don't know what I just did with my hands there. This is a tangent and aside. Now, I was listening to Delroy Lindo was on WTF with Mark Maron. I love Delroy Lindo. Delroy Lindo also in the movie Heist, which we talked about last week.
Full circle moment there. Full week moment.
He kept knocking on the table, Mark Maron's table, like 6 times in this episode. It was driving me nuts. And I just did it now on my own table. And I'm like mad at myself.
Boy, you really must. I got to aggravate you with all the quirks I do on here then.
Yes. Ask anyone who watches this show. They are aware that I am a kind and patient man, as must be Rusev for being, he's back with Lana, and we love CJ. We love CJ Perry. Turn into Trump there for a minute. I don't love that moment.
Beautiful
But,
CJ.
it looks like we're going to be getting more Rusev Day in the WWE.
Yeah, Robert. I mean, we haven't seen Miro in quite a while, and here he is going to be back in WWE. I think they'll do right by him finally. But are you looking forward to this? Do you think WWE will utilize him right? And how do you think they should make the most of the return of Rusev?
Here are the 2 scenarios that to me are the most intriguing when it comes to Rusev. If you put him on SmackDown, he's going to be able to go after the United States title, which means we're going to get Rusev LA Knight. We're going to get Rusev Sosko. We're going to get Rusev Jacob Fatu. If they put him on Raw and he's going after the Intercontinental title, we got Rusev Finn Balor, we got Rusev Dominic Mysterio, we got Rusev Penta, and Rusev Braun Breaker. There you go, man. Like, you immediately boost your upper mid card with some really exciting matches with a guy who is going to get pushed properly. Him and Aleister Black are a chance for Hunter to fix the Vince McMahon mistakes of the past as far as misusing really great talent. And I think this is going to be a great Rusev Day, and it's going to continue the trend. We saw how Penta has been booked. We're hopefully going to see how well Phoenix has been booked. And then the 2 biggest gets from AEW back to WWE are main eventing WrestleMania, which is CM Punk and Cody Rhodes.
And not to mention that Ricky Starks is your North American champion in NXT.
No one cares about Ricky Starks. I was trying to tee you up to the next door because I saw it was something with Cody. I was trying, Dom.
You did. You put it.
All due respect to Ricky Saints winning the NXT North American title. Good on you, man. Just keep him on NXT. Keep not Danny Garcia on NXT.
Oh, man. All right. Well, hey, yes, Cody did happen to tie in his brother into the WWE ecoscape once again. In an interview with Fox News, Robert, I know you tuned into that. He's
no. I don't even want that as a joke soundbite.
Well, he says about Dustin, his older brother Dustin, he's extremely talented. I'd like to see not just because I believe he deserves it, which he does, but I'd love to see family just more added. It's probably not going to happen for a while.
I don't know what that quote was in relation to.
Oh,
I'd like to see that.
I'm sorry.
Thanks, pronoun boy. Where's Jim Ross when you need him?
Right.
Hopefully not behind you or near me. No. Yeah, he's not going to move that quickly. You have to listen to the sassafras.
Hall of Fame for Dustin.
Where did that cup of coffee come from?
I've had it beside me the whole time.
You are like the king of just beverages, my man. I like it. It's like the opening of So I Married an Axe Murderer, where you're following the giant cappuccino. Anyway, yeah, Dustin's great. Cody's great.
What do you think of this next story? Is this great, Robert? there's been a little controversy going on. There's been a little beef between the aforementioned Swerve Strickland and Booker T. He was on Vlad TV, Swerve was, and had some comments to say about Booker. Booker fired back. Vlad TV got involved, shared that Booker actually was at the Vision Dojo or whatever it was with Predator, Chase, and Rance. And so Booker aired those grievances as well. What do you have you caught wind of this situation?
I don't
Robert,
know anything of this story.
Oh,
You're literally that was just word salad right there.
Wow. Okay.
So Booker was at the Team Vision Dojo, run by Chase and Rance, who, as of I got a text in the middle of the night. Someone sent me a tweet. Chase and Rance was arrested for violating the terms of his his
whatever thing it is.
I don't want to use the specific terminology because I think YouTube would wind up censoring us. That's the only reason I caught myself there. I know that he is on a registered offender list for underage related activities.
There you go.
That's all we're going to say, so we don't get the video flagged. But he violated the terms of that. And he has been arrested again, but I didn't realize that Booker T was involved in some form or fashion with Chase and Rance.
Yeah, a photo surfaced of him being a guest trainer there. Took a photo up, and Booker went on social media and actually said, "I've been guest trainer at hundreds of wrestling schools over the years, helping to teach and mentor up-and-coming talent. I don't conduct background checks on every trainer and individual I've crossed paths with or taken photos along the way. This feels like a clear attempt to falsely associate me with something I have 100% nothing to do with and absolutely no knowledge of. Any student who's trained with me can vouch for the kind of coach, mentor, and person I am. My record speaks for itself." So that was the statement he issued.
Here's all I'll say about this, and this will be the beginning and the end of it. When I first started with a wrestling promotion whose name we don't tend to evoke here on this show, we were in Orlando and we were filming and doing all of our pre-tapes at a wrestling school. That wrestling school happened to be run by Chase and Rance. I had no knowledge of, I didn't know who Chase and Rance was. And then come to find out after the fact, someone showed me who he was and what he did. And I'm like, I do not feel comfortable doing anything there anymore. And we switched and we started doing all of our pre-tapes at the hotel in Orlando, at the Clarion Hotel, rather than going back to that facility. So I can understand to some degree that Booker may not have been aware of the situation that he was put in. And to say that he was there because he endorsed the behavior of that person is a little bit of a stretch. But then again, I don't know what he was aware of, not aware of. I can only speak for my own situation and what I experienced when I was there. But let's talk about positive experiences like Working Stiff, which is now firmly in your inbox, Dom. So it'll be up as soon as he is back from his wonderful cafe adventure. Myself and Scott Chaplin predict what's going to happen on Dynasty. We talk about AEW Dynamite and Dane Cook for some reason. We went down a little bit of a rabbit hole talking about Dane Cook, the Dane Cook Louis C.K. feud. So that was a thing that I didn't expect to talk about. I know that you went live with Mr. Rob Van Dam well past my bedtime.
Well, that'll be tonight, Robert.
Oh, that's tonight. Sorry, I thought that was last.
Yes.
I keep forgetting I genuinely keep thinking today's Friday for some reason.
That's okay. Yes, today is Thursday, so tonight 9:15 p.m. Tune in rvdtv.com. Me and Rob Van Dam, W Hall of Famer, will be going live and chatting about some of these stories and stuff like that. So be sure to check that out tomorrow. Me and Magnum T8 will be going live at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on FullHorsemanNetwork.com. So be sure to tune in, check it out, and I'll have a good time. Plus, I have a new show I started doing too called Special Showcase with my college buddy, Jim Miller. We talk about the first episode of LFG. We're going to catch up on it, and we're going to give our review as the process goes on. So sure to check that out on OneTrueSportTV.com. So, but Robert, it's been a good Thursday here. I'm very, very excited to preview AEW Dynamite with you tomorrow.
You mean AEW Dynasty?
Oh, that's it. Yes. The Dynamite Dynasty.
Sorry, I'm wishing a quick happy birthday to Mr. Lance Storm. So
happy
birthday to Lance. I was letting him know. I checked. There is a Cracker Barrel in Las Vegas. So I know that's what matters to him. So on behalf of the King of Cups, Dominic D'Angelo. And yes, that is an obscure movie reference. I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Get a cup of Joe at the Cracker Barrel, ladies and gents.